Hi there, Matt.
Hi Phil, how are you, buddy?
A bit miffed. We just had some microphone troubles.
Technical issues over here in Studio B.
We recorded 5 minutes and 41 seconds of, I'll say it, gold.
I'm going to say we're never going to reach that standard of podcasting ever again.
That was perfect. The 5 minutes and 41 seconds that we recorded was perfect. What were we talking about, though?
Well,
there goes the segue, by the way.
We were just riffing naturally.
Yeah.
It
just came up.
I just asked you how you were, you asked me how I was. I said, well, I'm a little bit tired because I've been travelling so much. And I said, hey, as a result, I haven't really...
Oh, hang on. I mispronounced Prague, really funnily. You missed that.
That's true.
It was humorous.
And the Czech Republic.
Yeah, I did that funnily as well. But go on.
And I was like, one thing I haven't been able to avoid is this celebrity nude leak.
Yeah.
Brilliant segue. Probably one of the best ones I've ever done.
I mean, you'll never get there again.
But we were talking about the celebrity nude leak.
Yeah.
And how that even though I was away, the only piece of news other than Joan Rivers dying...
Oh, yeah.
Which was quite sad.
Shall we talk about that at some point?
Yeah, if you want. It was sad she was a pioneer of female comedy.
I'll write that down to talk about later on. Carry on.
The only thing anybody spoke about was this celebrity nude leak.
Which I believe you used the phrase celebgate.
Celebgate, hashtag celebgate.
Wrong. The Fappening.
The Fappening also probably works.
It's the Fappening, that's...
Well, the thing is, like I said on the previous 5 minutes of now deleted podcast...
Yeah, we can't keep doing that, by the way.
I basically said, I got a text, had a little bit of Wi-Fi in a bar, went, honestly, just looked at it, looked at a few pictures, only of Jennifer Lawrence really went, is that her? Yeah, it's her. Oh, yeah, she looks alright.
Yeah.
I sort of expected her to look alright, because she always looks alright.
Yeah.
And then put my phone down,
and
came back to a storm of, this is the worst thing that's ever happened. Apple would demand apologies.
Yeah.
People coming out with pages and pages about how this is, misogynistic and the worst thing that's ever happened. And if you're an other in society, if you're anything other than the white male, then society is trying to fuck you at all times. And it all... thank God. Caucasian male here.
Check.
And it all seemed just like
check.
a massive sort of whirlstorm when it didn't really need to be.
I don't think whirlstorm is a word.
Oh, I've just made it up.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I agree. I think that it was overblown on both sides. It was overblown by the people saying, oh, this is amazing, litres and litres of semen. And it was also overblown. But I posted on Facebook, someone calculated, or claimed to have calculated, the volume of ejaculate that had spewed forth.
Too much time on his hands.
Yeah.
Or her hands.
He was like, 4 tons. Oh, internet, that's despicable. Fuck you, internet. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
You're basically creating something to moan about.
Yeah.
That piece of information doesn't exist and never needs to exist.
Yeah.
And isn't even a piece of information. It's a piece of hearsay.
Yes.
That you're then saying, look how bad you all are on my hearsay. Go fuck yourself. That's not how it works.
It was ridiculous.
Honestly, I didn't really think about it at all. I had a little look, went, no, that's it. The whole privacy issue didn't come into my head. The whole morality issue didn't come into my head. I looked at it because it's a person of sort of public interest.
Yeah.
I would have looked at it if it was the Queen. I would have looked at it if it was my next door neighbour. I would have looked at it because that's the sort of society we live in.
Yeah.
Where if it's slightly unusual, then you'll look at it.
This is the thing, is that it was almost all female. I mean, I think it was all female celebrities.
I think of the entire league, there's like one guy or something.
Right.
Who may have just probably been in with a couple of women.
He might not have even been a celeb. He might have took a
Just
dick
been
pic.
there.
Oh, look, we've also found this guy.
I think this is Ryan Gosling's dick, ladies. Isn't this one of the nicest, most average penises you've ever
For his
seen?
height and weight.
For his height and weight, this is normal size.
But if it came out that, like, right, here's Ryan Gosling's dick, I'd also look. I'm a straight man.
I've looked at Chris Brown's dick on the internet.
What's that?
I've looked at really big.
Is it?
Yes, it is black, isn't it? It's huge.
You can't say
Stereotyping. Oh, sue me. Dappy's dick, huge. Any pictures that come out, I'll have a little gander at them. Because that's the society we live in. While there's a huge wave of everybody that looks at this are the worst people in the world. Let's ban pictures. Let's suspend Twitter users.
Yeah.
You're all terrible if you even comment on it in any way.
Yeah.
There's no sort of change coming from this. This comes about from a society we live in where the media loves to overtly sexualise female celebrities.
Yeah.
If you go on the Daily Mail website, for instance, or any of these,
I don't.
all the ones down the side are, oh, well, this person's striding out in a...
Yeah, exactly.
hip
It's
length.
all that
and
stuff.
when you build that up in society where snapping pictures of people coming out of nightclubs drunk, lying in the gutter, so you get a little upskirt shot of them, so you can splash it all over the tabloids, when that's just sort of accepted by a vast majority, a lot of people say, that is disgusting and it sells, but whatever. When that's the norm, then these people are put on a platform where we're intrigued by it. We want to see this. So people don't have that boundary. There's no privacy standards for celebrities at all.
No.
And that's, people say, well, it's part of the job, but where does that end? You follow One Direction around the world and, oh, here he is on his balcony. Is that too far? But then it's building a society where people feel like they can do anything. And there's no standards. I wouldn't take pictures of my next door neighbour, through the window. And
you haven't either. So
I haven't. And
whatever.
I have erased all of my hard drive because of the nudegate scandal. So
you won't even find the pictures. They were blurry anyway at best.
But that's because I have a standard.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take pictures of people falling over. But if it's a celebrity, it feels like there's interest in this. There's a hyped interest in this. Yeah. There's no standards. So you're saying that there are no standards. Do you think there should be standards? Do you think this is? Well, I don't think you can use the excuse that being famous is part of the job, that people are going to follow you everywhere and want your picture. To us, it is in our society, but where's that line drawn? Where do you stop?
I mean, not all of those people decided to become famous. Some of them decided to pursue their passion, which was acting or whatever it is.
And that's
what about the inevitable day when TLDR blows up huge in not only the Czech Republic but everywhere, well, and then our dicks are...
That's the issue. I'm not saying that people are choosing to be famous and thus have to accept, the pros and cons. I'm saying that just because these people are now in the A-list, B-list, have interest from a vast majority of the public, it doesn't mean you then can almost treat them not as people, but as on a different standard of morality and laws and everything to everybody else. If I lay outside our local nightclub and just took pictures of women falling over,
people would see you, mate.
I'll be arrested.
Yeah, you would be arrested swiftly.
But if I went to London and stood outside, a glamorous hotspot nightclub, and sort of took pictures of the celebrities falling out, and then post them on my Twitch, going, "Oh my God, look how crazy drunk Zabitha is."
Yeah.
Sabbath Blackperson, head of the
TFC network. See,
but. So there's a difference there.
Yeah.
And because of that accepted norm in society where people are treated almost as objects to look at and not objectify in a bad way as such for a lot of cases, but they're almost treated like idols.
Yeah.
And because we live in that society where it's fine and we're all interested in seeing what X is wearing and we want them to be as low cut as everything, then there's people don't have any qualms about it. Nudes, steal.
Yeah. I feel like this is us as a culture being confronted with this inevitable issue. It's like this was going to come to a head at some point, and now it is, and now you've got to deal with it, and you've got to figure out how, what are we going to do about this? Because first of all, there's no way that you can, if the desire is there to see nudes, then nudes are going to be seen. So there's no way you can stop it if the desire is there.
And the desire will always be there.
Well, but we could reach a point where it's utterly shameful and taboo to do this. And is that the point we want to reach, or do we want to reach a point where it's just a normal part of life and nudity isn't as taboo anymore?
Well, you need to treat people, it's an ideology, but you'd like to treat people with the same sort of decency and respect as you would want.
Yeah.
Like, if I have nude pictures of myself, great. I'll show them to people if I want to show them to people. But if someone hacked in and took them and just spread them to everybody I knew, I'll be like, well, that's a bit mean.
Well, yeah.
It's a bit horrible.
It wouldn't be fun. It'd be pretty horrible. Like, not only has something been stolen from you, but a really private, personal image. And I don't just mean image file, but,
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. And there's no boundary for that with these kinds of people. Whereas there is in normal society, you wouldn't do that. You don't do that.
Yeah.
But if you break down any sort of normality where we're constantly criticising and talking about how they look, they dress, they act, then you're not treating them as you would normal people.
Yeah, I mean, you forget that celebrities are normal people. That's what, that's what part of the problem is. And maybe because I feel like there are two different, almost independent forms of celebrity that are coming up now. There's the classic celebrity who is a Hollywood celebrity or TV celebrity or famous for something that's you expect people to be famous for.
Acting.
Yeah, and then there are people like YouTubers and podcasters and stuff like that. I'm not saying that we're in that category yet. This time next year we will have blown up. But people like Joe Rogan. I mean, he's a bad example because he was famous.
He was famous
already.
beforehand, but there are people that are now recognisable in the society we live in because of everything we have.
Yeah.
Because we live in a much more connected society. There are people that you will never hear of and never see, but will have 2 million, 10 million followers on X, Y, and Z, and will be able to go and sell out arenas.
But the point I was going to make there, though, is that those people who can go on and sell out arenas and stuff like that, more often than not, let's take a vlogger or a podcaster or something like that, their relationship to their audience is very different, because someone like Jennifer Lawrence, I don't really know what she's like. I don't know anything really about her. I just know that she gives good performances and that she's quite hot. But someone like a podcaster who I listen to for hours a week and there's more humanity there. So I would feel a lot weirder about leaking the nude of someone who's very candid with her audience.
Almost a personal connection too.
Yeah.
Because acting is just that, it's acting.
Yeah.
You could watch...
There's no candour to it, really.
You could watch Jennifer Lawrence in 100 films and they're all acting. And you can watch her on, go and do her Oscar speech or fall over, or here she is on television. But that's still her on television for an audience, for a show. There's
little humanity there.
Whereas, podcasting, vlogging is talking directly to an audience, directly to a very specific, often to a sort of target market.
Yeah. And often the whole sell is, here's my honest thoughts on something pretty mundane that's happened to me or whatever.
Yeah.
The sell is candour. Nowadays, that's what celebrity is. It's not really celebrity yet, but I imagine that in 50 years' time, the big celebs will be people that are, our generation subscribes to on YouTube right now. And so I feel like
people like to relate, and people in the past have reached to relate to little things that people do, and you see it to a certain extent with someone like a Jennifer Lawrence in the fact that she trips or falls over, or she's a little bit clumsy, or she's like, why do people make fun of people's weight? It's just natural.
Yeah,
people are like, oh, that's what I think, and I can relate to that, and now you have a sort of connection to a person, even though you don't really.
Yeah,
but it's a level above that when people are actively basically talking to you about often a topic you're interested in, or about themselves, or just being real.
Yeah, it's they're no longer this ethereal, godlike, different species that exists on Mount Olympus. They're peers almost. It feels weird to think of some of these YouTubers and podcasts and stuff like that as being better than you. Yeah. Whereas if I say a Jim Carrey or something like that is better than me, that's like a given almost. It would feel like a taboo to say that I'm as good as him on any level, or like someone like.
It would almost seem like an arrogance to say that me and Jim Carrey are just basically two similar blokes just in this world.
I mean, really, I'm better at impressions than he is. I'm better at acting than he is emotionally. I can give better performances.
Canadian.
Yeah, his Canadian accent in Anchorman 2 didn't sell me. It was basically an Irish accent, and he is Canadian. So that was a disappointment. This goes back to what I was saying earlier. I would, if one of the nude leaks was Jim Carrey's dick, I'd click on that probably before a lot of the female ones. If a female name I don't know, I can see from the thumbnail that it's really hot. But then Jim Carrey's dick, I'm clicking on Jim Carrey's dick immediately. What are your top 5 dicks?
My top 5 dicks, mine.
No, that you would like to see.
That I'd like to see.
Yours.
Yours, yeah. Where's that gone? Hello. Top 5 dicks that I'd like to see. Okay, Steven Gerrard.
Right.
Like to see his
Really?
penis.
What do you think? What do you think?
Because I feel like it's probably not that big. And in my mind, my entire life, he's almost been put on a pedestal.
As a big dick guy.
Liverpool captain, England captain.
Must have a big dick.
He's probably great in every way.
Yeah.
He's universally loved.
Yeah.
But there's got to be something wrong there. Idris Elba. Because
yes.
I heard...
Babylon.
Babylon talking about
yeah.
how big his dick was, and I like him. I think he's cool.
But I saw the picture that they were referring to, and apparently it was a microphone wire in his trousers. It did look like a huge schlong, but it looked like it was about a foot long. It was pretty ridiculous. If that is real, then congratulations to Idris for his big dick.
I'll probably pick out people who are of a similar height and weight to me.
To you, to see if you are average.
Because I always go, I'm average for my height and weight. But
you've not got the raw metadata.
I've not got the data.
Yeah.
Although, I did receive... I haven't got them anymore, obviously, but I did receive 4 random Snapchats from XXJack1995XX.
Who's that?
Just a guy on Snapchat who sent me 4 dick pics in a row saying,
his own?
Hey babe, I would assume so, they look like self-shot.
Right.
Hey babe, how are you? Answer me please. Are you there? So
what is your relationship with him?
Never, it was like completely random. Like,
right.
I've got it set out so anybody can snap me.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And got some dicks.
Liam Neeson would be my number 1 because I want to know if it's true. Willem Dafoe again. The rumours are there that he's got a big dick, and I would also like to see various black celebrities.
See if it's true.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Yeah, I'm not going to. No, it's stereotyping, and stereotyping is bad whether it's positive or negative. But I'm not going to. I mean, it is really essentially like philosophical.
It's bad to stereotype all people. But if you're going to do it positively.
But, I mean, I guess. But I'm not going to pretend. Like whenever this sort of conversation comes up, we were talking about Canada a minute ago. Canada has just dropped because people are afraid of being perceived as not being completely progressive and open-minded and stuff like that. But I'm not perfect. Hey, I'm just a little guy trying to make it
in this world.
And when I see a black celebrity, I sort of like Will Smith. There's no way he's got an average dick.
Yeah, no.
I would imagine that's big, but I would like to see. And if it is small, that'd be so interesting. It'd be like seeing a photo of water on Mars or something. It'd be a scientific curiosity.
I like how you think.
And again, I understand that what I'm saying is pretty terrible.
But it's true. And we're about truth.
It's true that this is what I think.
Yeah.
I'll go as far as saying that.
It's honest. We're honest here.
Honest is the word. True maybe is not the word.
We're raw and we're honest. And if you don't like it...
Let's say...
Keep subscribed. But
don't subscribe.
It'll probably
don't do anything hasty. Cool down for a bit and then make a decision.
Keep it hovering over the 5 stars.
Yeah, on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's still... Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say honest and wrong. Just to err on the side of caution. Just to err on the side of caution.
But why is it a bad thing to be wrong? People don't like to be perceived as being slightly wrong or misinformed.
Yeah.
If I voice an opinion, like honestly, about this celeb noodling, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Is it bad? Probably, but I don't care enough to be worked up about it. And so if somebody wants to come to me and talk about the privacy of women and the privacy of people and humanity and the world, and I'll listen to you and I'll go, oh, okay, that's interesting. Maybe I was, slightly misinformed. Maybe I jumped to an opinion too quickly.
But it's not.
But I'd rather have an opinion and voice it than go,
Right, well, here's a half-baked, ill-thought-out response to that I've just thought of.
Yeah.
I'll preface it by saying that it's not bad to be wrong in the sense that it's good to admit when you are wrong, and there's nothing wrong with happening to be wrong. But I would say that shame is an important social function on a larger scale, in that, let's say someone goes out and says, I'm just being honest, I just love to rape kids. You really sort of have to shame them. Yeah. Because, I mean, it's a self-policing thing. But
then I'm saying that there's context in that. I'm not saying that I'm going to go out and be completely open and honest and say all the weird thoughts that pop into my head all the time.
Yeah.
I'm saying people like to pussyfoot around and sugarcoat things and say what people want to hear.
Yes.
A lot of the time.
That's also bad. I don't think you should be afraid of this.
Whereas something like this isn't a terrible... This isn't news, really, at all. It's a non-event that is sort of a bit bad in a way, but there are millions of other bad things going on all the time.
This isn't the worst thing that's happening.
So,
hang on, I just want to say as well, because I've just thought... See, this is what happens when you do a half-baked idea. When I said that shame is important, things like slut-shaming, fat-shaming, not good.
Works, though.
Oh, that's a good point, yeah.
No,
I don't want to get into this.
Okay, well, that's the thing up for debate. I'm not saying it's the best avenue, but it often does work.
Again, shame as a social function does lead to change, but it's whether it's sort
should
of
you force change, or should change come naturally?
And it's also a weighing of values. Like, is it worth the shame? Because shame isn't a good thing to feel. And shame also leads to all sorts of neuroses. And
and
you don't really want to inflict shame upon people, but at a certain point, you have to shame people into not doing things that aren't illegal but are really, really immoral.
I'm not saying that shaming is the best course of action all the time.
No.
I'm saying that it often is a very effective course of action.
Yes.
Whether that messes things up further down the line, that's up for debate.
Yeah.
But it does work to a certain extent.
But guns work really effectively.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's like
guns do work effectively.
Yeah. And guns don't kill people.
Rappers do.
Rappers do, yeah.
I
saw it on a documentary on BBC Two. Oh, a different person.
Oh, never mind. Trying to drag it back vaguely
to the Fappening.
To where I was, to the Fappening. As I was saying a minute ago, with society putting these kind of people on a different pedestal.
Yeah, on a plane.
Is there then some importance or some responsibility that they have to take on board regarding things like this?
Who's the celebrities?
The celebrities themselves. And now, if I come out and say, this is the celebrities' fault because they shouldn't keep nudes of themselves on their laptops, then people are going to blow up and go mental and say, you can't say that. Oh, things set on fire don't have anything flammable. That's not...
I mean, this is a really egg-shelly conversation.
But there's a difference between, like, there's an argument of privacy and sort of stupidity. Where's the line drawn? I'm not saying that you have to be the most vigilant, never do anything, and because you're this person now you have to act in a completely different way. If you want to do what you're doing, do what you're doing. But when you're suddenly in the attention of the world and many more eyes are on you, many more negative eyes are on you as well, people who want to manipulate you or change or steal from you or whatever it is.
So with that comes a certain responsibility.
Do you then have responsibility to not be an idiot? I'm not saying that these people who had their nudes leaked are idiots, but I'm saying that less people are going to be interested in nudes I have on my laptop than are going to be interested in the nudes of Jennifer Lawrence, for instance. Yeah. So does there come a point where you go, oh, well, I took these in the past, that was nice, but I'll probably just, move them or delete them, or people might want to see that and that might badly affect me. So I'll take that. If I want to maintain my status as it is now, if I want to keep being the person I am, I have to be a bit more wary of what I'm doing.
But the thing is, there are various nuances to this. Like, for example, if you delete something off your iPhone,
it's
like
not
a photo,
deleted,
it's still on the iCloud, and I suppose most people don't realise that.
Yeah, got to get rid of a lot of pictures.
Yeah, I've had...
It's really opened my eyes.
All day I've been ticking boxes.
Yeah.
It's just...
it's easier just to tick all and then just tick the ones I want to keep.
Yeah, but I've noticed that I just take too many from the same angle. It's redundant at that point.
Yeah. Just got 5 of the same. That's the thing with the iPhone. Yeah. You can just take about 6 at once.
I mean, I do use all of them though. I send them all off to different people. See what feedback I get back. And then I've got a system. I've got tournaments, sport tournaments.
Yeah.
I've got that with dick pics.
Dick pics.
So at the minute, img437.jpg is winning out, but 0073, which is a bath pic,
fighting back.
Yeah, it's fighting back, and that you can see a bit of my anus in that one.
That's an interesting angle.
It's mostly anus. It's an anus pic. Yeah,
that's an interesting one.
Yeah. Here it is. Look.
Oh no, that is good.
Yeah, thank you.
Got a lot of notice there, my friend. Is that all the dick pics coming back at you?
Dick pics, yeah.
But
it's not. It isn't.
I was listening to an interview with somebody, I can't remember who it was, so no sources on this, but they were saying when Paris Hilton's nudes got leaked a couple of years ago, people just went on her email and her password question was, what's your dog's name? And it's wild public knowledge what a dog... She talks about it all the time, so people just went boom and stole everything.
Right.
And if you're going to have any data anywhere at this, but this isn't even about nudes at this point.
It's about privacy and...
It's about privacy and protecting basically yourself and things you own. Why would you not use all means.
Yeah.
It's the whole two-step verification thing, your security codes and your passwords and your emailing and whatever it is. They give you so many levels. Why wouldn't you use that?
Yeah.
And not only why wouldn't we use it, but
especially if you're a celebrity.
This is the responsibility stroke stupidity side of it from that angle. Why wouldn't you use that?
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
This is
you can't live in this society we live in, and it's nice to say, I just want to be treated like everybody else. We're just all the same guys in the same boat. And yes, we are, and that's great, and you shouldn't steal nudes from anybody, you shouldn't steal anybody's information from anybody. But more people are interested in you than are interested in Jane up the street. That's just pure fact. So, act responsibly. I'm not saying that these people aren't acting responsibly.
No.
I'm going to cover my track.
Yeah, I know.
But don't be an idiot.
This is interesting because it's sort of highlighting the fact that our society really does have a caste system, which you don't really think of it like that, but celebrities are in a different caste. That's like, we've been searching for the word to use. Yeah, and that sort of fits.
Both sides of it. Like in India, you have the untouchables.
Yeah.
Who don't. Sort
which
of
is
like
still around.
Sort of like our homeless people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence is not going to high five a homeless guy.
And also, like, a crime committed against a homeless guy and a crime committed against Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
I'll argue about it all you want, but really they're going to treat Jennifer Lawrence's crime more seriously.
Absolutely. And that's... Is it a sad reflection on society? Probably, yeah, probably it is.
I think it's inherent to humanity because this is a society that's very consciously made an exerted effort to get rid of any form of caste system, or like we're all like the idea of class and stuff is a bit of a taboo. Like, we don't want that, but we have it. Yeah. So it's probably just inherent to human behaviour in some way.
We like to build these people up, but you can only build them up to a certain...
baby before...
You break me down.
Yeah.
And mess me around.
Yeah.
But...
Good point. Wow, I've never heard it put like that. That works.
We live in a society where there's always going to be desire to be something you're not.
Yeah.
It's natural to wish for something. Whether it's, I wish to live on a tropical island with £1 billion.
Yeah.
Or whether it's, I'd love to have a life being an actress and looking all great. And I want to see... homeless people... I'd love to see homeless people naked. So when you start... throwing... just see what happens. See what it's
you
like.
Wouldn't.
There's that Patrice O'Neill bit, isn't there, about the difference between men and women.
Yeah.
Is that a woman would walk past a homeless guy, she'd be like, oh, that's disgusting. A guy would walk past a homeless woman and be like...
I would.
Let's clean you up and see if we can have sex with you.
Patrice O'Neill is so funny.
And it was so funny.
Well, he's dead,
peace, brother. But, not a brother, never met him. Dead before I knew who he was. But but that's sort of the point. When you have these people and you build them up...
Buttercup, baby.
And especially females, when you overtly sexualise them anyway, a vast majority of the male population of then, of course, is going to go, I wonder what they look like naked.
Yeah.
And then when it's there, click.
Yeah.
Millions of people are going to do it. You can say, don't do that as much, that's immoral. There's always going to be that desire there.
Yeah.
Always.
I mean, I was saying this before the microphone broke earlier on, that, like, before... Like, the first thing I saw of it was the subreddit, the Fappening.
Yeah.
And the moral implications hadn't occurred to me whatsoever before, like, I saw all these articles and stuff talking about how, of course it's immoral. And I was like, I suppose that's a good point.
Yeah, I suppose it is. But they closed down the Fappening, didn't they?
Yeah. And big drama.
There's talk of banning Twitter for people who like tweeted them, suspending them. But I don't think that works. What are you gaining from that?
Banning the followers.
What are you trying to do by trying to remove that content? You're trying to stop as many eyes getting to it as possible.
Yeah, it's that they call it the Barbra Streisand effect.
Why?
Something happened with Barbra Streisand where basically when a celebrity wants to cover up a photo, that has the opposite effect. Well, not
Beyonce
necessarily a photo, but
recently,
anyway. Yeah, Beyonce. Yeah.
And the opposite side of this, and it's sort of the same point of what I'm doing, is when people want to do that, then you attract more attention to it.
Yeah.
And you bring more eyes to it, and it becomes more taboo and more underground, and you find ways to get it.
Yeah.
And do you know Anjem Chowdhury?
Nope.
He's a sort of radical, Islamist. He lives in Luton, or he lives quite close to the former leader of the EDL, Tommy Robinson.
Right. That must be That's a sitcom waiting to happen.
Yeah, the old odd couple.
Yeah.
And he's very like, Sharia law, and he's like, white people only. And, that's
I mean, if
politics.
that's not a sitcom, throw an audience laugh track over that.
Oh! That's...
We'll get Coogan in.
That's me breaking down politics to almost a sort of retard level. But he's very outspoken about, anybody that drinks in the street should be, like, arrested and all this stuff. And he tried to get photos of his, like, uni days where he was drinking and gambling off the internet. But they're, like, some of the most upvoted things on Reddit. Because, when it's a thing we all get behind, then, we'll push it and we'll push as many eyes to this as possible.
And also, the fact, when you hear, they're trying to get rid of this, they're trying to cover this up, that sets an expectation that it's, A, worth covering up,
looking at,
and B, might be gone in a minute. So it drives
get to it as quickly as
so
possible.
many people who wouldn't have looked at it otherwise to immediately swarm to it. And that's one of the reasons that people have looked at, all of these pictures so much. The other reason is that it's Jennifer Lawrence naked.
But I don't think the whole idea of prosecuting and banning and stopping people from seeing it is ever going to work. At this point, it's out and it's done and it's on the internet, and there's only so much threat you can do.
Yeah,
it's there now. The damage is to a certain extent done.
Yeah,
people start printing up billboards and whacking them on, then we start having a chat again.
This whole thing is like...
but there's so much shit, terrible stuff on the internet.
Yeah.
If we want to go down that dark hole of the internet, there are things that are genuinely disturbing and disgusting, horrible things. Yeah. Another example of it recently was when ISIS beheaded James Foley. Terrible, horrible, it's been spoken about so much. And, of course, it's a deplorable thing.
It was a terrible video, only a 480p.
And they put it on the internet to, brag, show, whatever, this is what we do, we're strong, that's terrorism, that's how it works.
Well, to cause terror.
That's how it works. Yeah. And it was the whole, don't view it, don't do this, don't do that. Yeah. But what are you doing by stopping it? You're making this the point.
Yeah, you're certainly not stopping it.
And this isn't the point. That's the point. Isn't don't watch the video. So
what's the larger issue here then in the Fappening? What is the point?
Well, you're bogging down with suspending Reddits and Twitter users and all. You're bogging down the actual act of stealing and hacking. Yeah. Which is, if you're going to prosecute one person, probably go and do the bloke who did it.
Is he? I mean, here's a point. Like, this is such a complicated, convoluted issue at this point. Where does blame lie? Because you could make an argument for literally all the involved parties to be at blame. Like the viewer, people like us, who just see it. You can make the argument that we're to blame. You can make the argument that the celebrities are to blame for being stupid. You can make the argument that the hacker is to blame. But you could also make the argument that they're all victims of circumstance. Like, who is to blame here? Who's at fault? Go.
Oh, who's at fault? Well, what do you mean by blame? Blame in what context? Because you can't blame somebody for taking a private picture of themselves. It's legal. It's within the law. Yeah. If you're going purely on law basis,
then it's the guy who leaked them.
Then it's the guy who stole them.
Yeah.
Because the act of stealing is the illegal thing, obviously.
Yeah.
Putting them on the internet is probably some kind of electronic-based law. I don't know how it works, but
it's violating copyright law.
The act of theft is the breaking of law.
Yeah.
Once it's on the internet, there isn't a law that states you can't look at stolen property. That's not a law.
Right. Okay.
So I'm not to blame.
Legally.
And those people aren't to blame legally.
Yeah.
If you want to go down the moral standpoint, then it depends where you come from. You could come from a very fundamentalist attitude. You should never do anything so demeaning as taking a picture of yourself in the first place.
Yeah.
And you started this chain of events, and you're the domino that fell first, so it's all your fault.
Yeah.
And if you'd never took them, there's so many arguments. How do you stop this from happening? Don't take naked pictures of yourself. And of course, that is the only guaranteed way this is ever going to happen. But that's not going to happen.
No, especially in this society. I mean, we've talked about it before on TLDR that dick pics and nude pics in general, nudes in general, are such a huge part of culture now.
Yeah, it's very strange, but it is a huge part of culture. So you can't really blame them for doing it. It's an intimate thing. With the technology you have now, when you're in relationships, etc., it's going to happen. That's a thing. What does happen?
Yeah.
Morally, do you blame the guy that stole them? Yeah, you say, well, that was a bit of a dickish move.
Yeah.
But you can also morally blame a society that over-sexualises celebrities makes things like that just seem... Well, when you live in a society that you think the benefit of stealing this would be better and greater and more important to you than the immoral action of upsetting some celebrities, well, that's also a big cluster.
Well, I think the benefit was that he got a lot of money for it. I think he sold them, didn't he? So really, the conclusion there is that
money!
Capitalism is like to blame. But
then what's driving that capitalism? People's desire.
Hard dicks.
Yeah, people's desire to see that, which is brought about because of how we live and
the fact that we're humans. And
yeah,
this is all just a messed up situation, really. And trying to act as if it's like a neat thing that we can say, you're to blame for this and you're to blame for that and you should do this and you should do that. It's just this is just something that we need to collectively ruminate on and then move past somehow.
But there's been no room for just pondering and going, well, what should we do about this?
No rumination room.
Rumination room. As soon as it came out, you had the early birds like ourselves who just went, oh, okay, put it down, didn't think about it again.
Yeah.
Then you had the one-dayers who had time to knock up a piece about how this is the worst thing that's ever happened.
Yeah.
And then you had the bandwagon jumpers who came on board and this is disgusting.
Yeah.
And these people are saints amongst our... And Apple, how dare you? And you've got Apple coming out saying they're outraged by this theft. It's very public knowledge that people die making the very phones and the very products. And there's no outrage about that. There's no outrage that you're paying sweatshop workers no money at all to work 18 hours to build your computer so you can make it $5 cheaper at Walmart. There's no outrage there. Yeah. This is the prime example of us putting our focus and our in the wrong place.
Yeah.
I really honestly don't give a shit because it doesn't affect me in the slightest way. And it doesn't affect them either. Jennifer Lawrence is going, oh, well, my privacy's been gone there.
Well, it's humiliation, isn't it?
It's humiliation, but she's going to go, well, I've got loads of money and I'm a successful, happy person.
But money can't buy you love, Matt.
No, but she's not gaining love from this.
But she might have this might have serious psychological repercussions, though. It might not, but it might. She might need counselling and therapy for this, and it might be like...
At least she lives in a place that she can get that freely whenever she wants and however she wants. So. And she's surrounded by people that will offer her that and care and give her attention and love.
Yeah, it's not all bad, I suppose.
Well, no,
Is there anything else that we need to say on this? Because I feel like we can go on for 4 hours.
I don't know.
Are there any other points that need covering?
It sort of gets me angry in the wrong way. I suppose that shows that people care enough that this is still news 7, 10, 5 days after it happened. Yeah. You should... The more attention you put on it, the more attention it has.
Yeah.
If this happens and people... There's a little statement that says, this is deplorable, we don't really want to comment on it any further.
Yeah.
My client, whoever it is, feels this is a gross breach of privacy and we would like to move past this now. And everyone went, okay then. And hundreds of websites didn't write articles all about it, and it wasn't plastered all over literal news channels.
Yeah.
It's not news.
But I mean, the reason that's never going to happen is that most celebrities, I mean, they still have PR teams, but they are their own PR teams, like they have their own Twitter accounts and stuff. So it's the initial gut reaction that you're going to see as what would have in the past been a press release. So it's going to be like,
I've only heard the Jennifer Lawrence PR team just said, that's really bad.
Has she had a public reaction to this or anything?
Her PR team's it's a gross breach of trust and privacy.
It's just gross.
And, she's saddened by it.
Yeah,
but if we
we loved it.
If we put an end to it there, then to a certain extent it ends there. That's how news in this society works.
Because we're the media, we're talking about it here, we're putting media out,
to a certain extent, because what are we doing? We're not talking about the news, we're not playing news off as fact, we're not trying to educate or inform, really.
I'm trying to get views and money, ad revenue.
It's entertainment is what we're doing, we're not news.
That's a joke, by the way, we don't get any money for this.
We're not the BBC, we're not CNN.
We don't have a responsibility.
I have no responsibility to anybody other than maybe myself, and even then I don't really think about it.
We're hobbyists.
I'm doing... This is basically just a Facebook post that I'm voicing.
But do we have responsibility, though? That's what I'm saying. Like,
no.
I mean, that's the more comfortable...
Responsibility to who?
To our listeners.
No. My responsibility... I don't have a responsibility. I do this to voice an opinion on however many topics we do a week. Yeah. Maybe discuss it. Maybe go, that's interesting. Do you find it interesting? Go and have a look at it. That's it. Maybe I provide an interesting take on something that people don't... I don't have any responsibility to act morally.
Yeah, but hang on, though. Not necessarily to act morally, but what we choose to talk about, like, if we put forward the theory that society is crumbling because people pay too much attention to X and Y, then by rerouting people's attention to X and Y, surely we're the perpetrators there.
Yeah.
So, do we have a responsibility to not do that?
No, because then there's no chink in the armour. The armour is full of people pulling the let's all talk about X and Y. There's nobody saying, we're talking about X and Y, and it's fucking stupid that we're talking about X and Y.
Yeah. So maybe...
Because that's the argument for, why... EDL, all these kind of people, do we just let them do their own thing, or do we voice our opinion on them and say... This is why they're wrong, this is wrong, their opinions on this are wrong, and this is wrong. Because you're voicing that opinion, and you're saying, EDL, and look what EDL have done, and link to them being drunks and calling people packies in the street. You're linking, you're getting them more attention, getting them more views, and you're probably going to get them a few more supporters.
Yeah.
But you're also, hopefully, educating the masses who just go, they've got English flags, so they're probably all right.
Yeah, that's true.
You're educating them by saying, well, actually, they're fascist, horrible people.
Yeah, there's more nuance to it than just...
You're not just talking about them.
Yeah.
The pure data of it, the pure data is, yes, people, you see it trending, how many people are talking about X, Y, and Z, but it isn't one opinion on X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, it's, again, this isn't just one opinion being repeated, it's one opinion being commented on, and then commented on again, and then commented on again.
I mean, what's trending now? Conjunction junction. No idea what that is, but I imagine not all the tweets about conjunction junction are exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
And that's the point. That's our responsibility, is to voice our opinion of it. Because we have no responsibilities, because I'm not answering to anybody else, because I don't have to work for any major company that's spending money this, there and everywhere, I can say, well, this is a bit shit. This is a bit... Or... I don't really care, which is almost the strangest opinion of them all. People are either like, yes, nudes, or this is disgusting.
But it's almost the better opinion because you're sort of leading by example, because people see that not caring is an option, and here it's probably the best option to take. So fuck the fappening. Talking about it for 43 minutes.
Well, fuck all of it. It doesn't matter.
Is there anything else to say in the fappening?
Fuck it. No, it's done now. It's dead. It's dead in the water. It doesn't matter.
Fuck you.
This ends. This is dying now.
This ends now.
This ends now.
Oh, that would be a good place to end it.
Yeah, that would be good.
Oh, I shouldn't have.
If only we'd cut it there.
Damn.
Oh. Well, coming up on the next episode of TLDR, the Internet Digest, the gang will be diving headfirst into a brand new app called Wakey, which allows you to phone random strangers and wake them up, and they can phone you. Pretty crazy, right?
Oh, that's interesting, yeah. I would just like to say from the bottom of my heart that you can get TLDR on iTunes, Stitcher and YouTube. Search TFC Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and of course YouTube. Thanks for listening and, a witty